What's up, everybody? We are back, and today I want to talk about what I eat when I travel. One of you guys asked that question, and my apologies for not saving the screenshot of the actual question. But I did reply to you in the comment section, and I did say I would actually film a video and a podcast for you talking about just this topic. Now, you guys probably know I travel the world. I travel the country. I travel the state. I'm always traveling. I am an expert. I am a pro traveler. Travel pro used to be one of my hashtags on Instagram and Twitter in the early days. I have actually perfected of traveling without checked baggage. What does that mean? When I travel, no matter where I go, no matter for how long I go, I have a backpack and sometimes an overhead roller that goes overhead. I never, ever, ever, ever check bags anymore. I don't care. And why is that? That is because back in 2010, I was traveling to Montreal, Canada for Thiago Alves. This was the first fight I ever worked with Thiago after he had missed weight versus John Fitch. Thiago missed weight versus John Fitch. John Fitch soundly over 3 rounds. And that was the end of it. The UFC was going to cut Thiago. Thiago's manager reached out to me and said, "Hey, Dolce, will you work with him? Do you think you could save him?" I said, "Absolutely, yes." They went back to the UFC and they said, "Dolce's going to take over Thiago." Then Dana White called me personally and said, "You're going to take over this kid?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Do you think this kid can make weight at 170? I said, "Yeah." He said, "Are you going to put your name on that statement right there?" I said, "Absolutely." And he said, "All right, we'll give him another shot." From then on, we moved forward. Thiago went out there. He made weight. He looked phenomenal in that fight and yada, yada, yada. That's a whole nother story. But in Montreal, Canada, I had everything I needed. I had too much stuff, and it was freezing cold. It was December, and it was cold. It was snowy. It was wet. It was gross. We go out there. We do the fight. I have everything I need. I have more stuff than I need, and now it's time to go home. And Sunday morning, the fight's on Saturday night. Sunday morning, I'm back in the bus. And Burt Watson he's running the show. He gets me a nice seat front of the bus. And normally, when you travel, they want you to take your gear and stow it under the bus. Now, I traveled enough times to know I'm not putting my gear under the bus, which means my gear is now going to get stuffed behind 20, 30, 40 other people's gear, backpacks and suitcases and all the hubbub, all the BS. I am not being separated from my gear. So I sit there all by myself with all of my luggage. I got the big old roller, I got a carry-on, and I got a backpack. I'm just a mess. You can't even see me. So I'm sitting there. Bert was cool. He let me. I'm the first seat on the bus. Roll up. I get off. I'm like, cool. I'm the first one off the bus. I got my gear. I'm going to get into the airport. Now, we're there 3 hours early. Unfortunately, because of the weather and because of the language barrier in Montreal, they speak French. And I tried my best to be courteous and to try and learn the language, the basic greetings and salutations. I tried to learn a few French phrases to at least show that I was trying to respect the culture. It was very challenging. Very hard to find our gate. Very hard to find my gate. Very hard to get where I wanted to go. Finally, I find my gate. I get to where I'm supposed to go. I have to now check my bags. And it was a madhouse. It looked like Venezuela, a complete mob scene. It looks like the streets of France with people rioting everywhere. People were going crazy. Flights were being delayed. People are literally screaming and shouting. There's 4 attendants behind the counter and probably 300 people at the desk trying to get attention. There was no lines. There was no ropes. It was a madhouse. And I'm standing there watching the clock tick down as I'm going to now be possibly late for my flight. Had I not needed to check my baggage, I could have gone to my gate, got on the flight, no problem. Lesson learned. Finally, I flagged down a young man who was about my age at the time. He looked like he might have a little bit of martial arts experience. I got his attention. I said, please, can you help me? He stopped what he was doing. He came over. He helped me. I checked my bag, and just barely, by the skin of my teeth, did I make it onto the flight. That being said, I promised never, ever, ever to be at the mercy of airports or anybody else ever again. I would be completely self-sufficient. Now, why is that whole preamble important to this story? Because when you travel, You must be completely self-sufficient. You cannot claim victimhood because the airport, because the hotel, because the restaurant, because the catered lunch or brunch or dinner doesn't have your specific nutrition items to keep you compliant to your goals. That's your responsibility. That's not their responsibility. Now, when I travel abroad, I contact the hotel. I look at their menu. I look at the room service. I look at what amenities are available to me where I'm staying. I do a hard target search in half a mile, 1 mile, 2 mile in walking distances from the hotel to see what type of grocery stores are available to me where I can stock up on my nutrition. What type of restaurants and cafes are available to me that I can go and get prepared meals in the quality that I need to consume? I take the time, usually it takes an hour or so for me to get this list. I know in the world, no matter where I go, I know where I can go, what's available, and also what's not available. When I determine what's not available, then I know what I need to bring. Now, what do I normally bring? I almost always bring oat bran with me. I almost seeds and hemp seeds with me. I almost always bring some sort of nuts, cashews, almonds. Always bring some sort of fresh fruit. Now, you bring fresh fruit onto an airplane, you can eat it on the plane. You can't clear customs with it. You can't clear customs with anything that has been opened. Now, that's why I don't open my oats, I don't open my chia, I don't open my hemp. Don't bring hemp to Australia because you can actually get in some trouble with that. But I digress. Know the laws of where you're going, of course. I bring the basics, the staples that I need. I also bring, and I wish I had it with me, I bring a metal cup. It's a camping cup. It actually campfire cook. And it fits extremely well in my backpack, and I take that steel cup, which now I can make my oats in there. I can pour hot water in there. I can mix my raisins or whatever else in there, my chia, my hemp. I can mix it up. I can eat that no problem everywhere, anywhere I go. I take my shaker bottle. I don't have that in front of me, but I take a traditional protein shaker bottle, which is 32 ounces. I can fill that with water, so now I have water on the go. If I'm passing water fountains, I'll typically fill that up. I can put smoothies and whey proteins and whatnot in there. I'll almost always bring some packets of the DOLCE Whey Pro whey protein isolate with me, so I have that. Not that I always consume it, but I always have it available. These are grab-and-go easy things, and I've been stuck. I was stuck for almost 2 days one time in the Sao Paulo, Brazil airport because flights were being canceled. I had all the food that I needed with me to sustain me and get me through. That's kind of like a survival case scenario. Usually I'll have a few healthy bars like an RX bar or a Kind bar, some simple, an Oat Mega bar, a few simple bars like that. I have those bars in my backpack typically for months at a time, because normally I don't use them. I don't need them. That's like a last resort. I'm stuck somewhere. I'm running low on food, and I need just something to build that bridge to get me to the next meal. I'll have those available for emergency cases only. I also bring floss. I bring toothpaste, toothpicks. I bring a travel toothbrush and toothpaste. That's always in my backpack, and they're unopened. Travel size. They're ready to go. I have it available. I have in a setup, a plastic fork, knife, spoon, and napkins. I always have that in my backpack. Even right now, I have it in my backpack. No matter where I go, I have utensils so I can eat. I have food so I can eat, because who knows what happens. I might get a phone call, and I got to get in the car, and I got to drive and handle some sort of life emergency. I have food to sustain me. I have fluid to sustain me. I have cases of water in my gym, in my house, in my car, in my office. Everywhere I go, I have access to water. I think ahead. I'm prepared. The topic of this conversation, though, was what I eat when I'm on the road, and I gave you some context in how I prepare. Now, when I'm on the road, I look at it this way: lean, green, and clean. That's lean proteins, green vegetables, and clean burning carbohydrates. What would a lean protein be? It depends on what your nutrition philosophy is. A lean protein to me is some sort of wild caught game if I can get my hands on it. Some steak, some chicken, some turkey, some fish, some eggs, some beans, some quinoa, some hemp seeds, some chia, some lentils. Those all fall into the lean protein category. I'm looking for lean proteins. When I say lean proteins, I mean real protein, earth-grown sources of protein. When I say clean burning carbohydrates, remember lean, green, and clean. Clean burning carbohydrates means real earth-grown carbohydrates. What would that be? That could be blueberries or strawberries or apples or raisins, quinoa or white rice or sweet potatoes. That could also be chia seeds. There's a variety of sources. That could be some of the greens, but we'll jump to the green category. When I say greens, that's kale and spinach and asparagus and Brussels sprouts and chard. Those fall into the green category. And when we say greens, we're also thinking of vegetables, peppers and onions and tomatoes and mushrooms and all of those wide varieties. So when I travel, I always say lean, green, and clean. Lean, green, and clean. What can I eat? Lean proteins, green vegetables, clean burning carbohydrates. No sauces, no seasonings, no additives. I don't care about that stuff. I don't want that stuff. I'm very discerning on how I flavor my food because I'm not pouring synthetic chemicals into my body, specifically when I travel, doing that, nor should you. I'm drinking tons and tons and tons of water. I'm drinking fresh brewed teas and black coffee. That's it. So when I travel, no matter where I am on the planet, I've been to every continent outside of Antarctica, every continent multiple times, usually every continent a few times in a given year. I've never missed a meal. I've never had a problem. I've never been at a loss for what to eat. Even domestically here in the United States, I do quite a bit of motivational speaking for our military. I visit multiple dozens of U.S. domestic military bases. And those who know, military bases are typically in far off lands in terrible areas that don't have access to organic, grass-fed, cold-pressed, food, restaurants and such. There's maybe a strip club, maybe a gas station, and probably like a Denny's or something of that. That's about as fancy as it gets. Even at type of restaurants, what do I eat there? If I go there, what I typically get is I will get poached eggs, hard-boiled eggs or poached eggs, which if you know what a poached egg is, you crack an egg into a boiling pot of water. There you go. There's nothing added, no oils, no grease, no gross, right? So I'll get poached eggs. I'll ask for, spinach. I'll kind of look around. Do they have any spinach? What do they have green? Usually they have spinach because they have veggie omelets. I might get some spinach and some veggies. I'll ask to get those raw. If it's kind of a little like gross, I might even avoid those completely. And I'll ask for a whole avocado unopened. I'll ask for a whole orange unopened. So I'm getting the lean protein from the eggs. I'm getting the some fruit sources from the orange or a banana, usually something with the skin that it's unpeeled because I'm kind of a germaphobe. As you guys who've been listening to me for a while, you know that. And, if I can get the green veggies, I do at that point. If not, I kind of go without, and I'll just stick it to the fruits for a little while. But normally you can get pretty decent meals no matter where you go. You can get the green veggies no matter where you go because there's always a spinach. Like a romaine lettuce, not really too big on that. Doesn't really do anything for me. But you can still get some sliced tomato, which is actually really good. You can almost always get peppers and onions. That's the way I look at it. So remember, lean, green, and clean. Lean proteins, green vegetables, clean burning carbohydrates, lots of water, lots of fresh brewed teas, lots of black coffee for me if that's something you enjoy. So there's no excuse. Now, we work with high net worth individuals that have to go out to fancy dinners at fancy restaurants, even in those circumstances. And they're like, man, I got to go to this place. I got to eat. What do I eat? Now, we offer the service that we'll actually look and you will tell them exactly what to eat, how to order it, and sometimes we'll even be able to contact the chef in the kitchen and say, this is exactly what so-and-so will be ordering, will be eating tonight. Make sure it's available. The fancier the restaurant, usually they're happy to do that. But if not, the general rule is lean, green, and clean. Lean proteins, green vegetables, clean burning carbohydrates. No matter where you go on the planet, you can get that. From earth-grown sources, real sources. You don't have to go to Subway. You don't have to go to Chipotle. You don't have to go to Chick-fil-A. You don't have to go to any of those crap places and pretend you're eating well because you're not. You're not. You're being a little kid. You're being a little baby. You're not being healthy when you're eating that crap. lean, green, and clean. Remember that. Be self-sufficient. Be mindful. Be intentional. Be in charge of your life. I hope you like this video. I hope this information was helpful. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. Subscribe. Where is it? Where is the subscription? Somewhere. It's somewhere here. Subscribe to the channel. Click on notifications so you know when we drop new videos. Give us a thumbs up if you like what I've talked. Give me a thumbs down if you don't like it, but if you don't like it, let me know. Leave comments below. Remember, this was a user question, a viewer question. If you want me to talk about something, let me know what you want to hear. I am happy to talk about it. Every day I want to pump out new content for you guys that is actionable, that is efficient, that will get you to your next goal, that will get you out of the logjam that you're in right now. That's my goal here, is to get you moving forward in real time with real talk from a real coach with real results. Until next time, boom.